This is Amateur Logic, episode 119 for July 15th, 2018. This episode of Amateur Logic is brought to you by MFJ, the world leaders in ham radio accessories at mfjenterprises.com. And by ICOM. See how you can get the most out of this contest season with ICOM. Good evening. Welcome to another Amateur Logic. I'm George.
I'm Tommy.
I'm Emile.
And
I'm Jocelyn.
Jocelyn.
Jocelyn. Hey, that's a new name.
A special guest on the show.
Yes, sir. Well, it's not totally new. You've seen Jocelyn on here several times before.
Yeah.
It just hasn't been he hasn't been a guest on here yet, has he? I don't think so.
No, usually if he has been on here, he's been over to the side, not one on top of the other.
Not like that?
Yeah, not like that.
I'm not sure how that happened.
Yeah, that's an inside joke for those who are watching the recording here, but we're a little late getting started tonight. And,
just not a good one.
Yeah, well, you can't win them all.
No.
We've got a fun show lined up tonight. Field Day was seems like it was only last month.
Yeah, seems kind of like that. It was fun. It was a good one. It
was fun. It seemed, well, that's where you were sitting for Field Day.
Yep, sure is. This is my spot.
Yeah.
Always.
Let's just go around and see what everybody's been up to. I've been outside sweating in the heat down here. What have you been doing, Tommy?
I've been doing a little bit of that as well. But since I've seen you guys last and since Field Day, I've had my summer vacation. So I went out to California, had a nice time out there. Matter of fact, I got a little video, some pictures to share with you guys next month about it.
Cool. Emile, what's been going on down south there?
Well, you guys know we have the same heat you guys have, so I'm still pretty much recovering from Field Day. Besides putting the pieces back together in the shack from what I ripped out to go in the field, I also I'm just putting pieces back together as slow as possible just to deal with the heat because it's brutal down here.
Oh, yeah, I know it. Jocelyn, how are things up in Cincinnati these days?
Well, George, everything's good. Did a little bit of antenna work outside while the weather was nice. Same thing as we were saying, the heat here is, like I said, we hit mid-90s today, which is a little warm for this part of the world. But it's supposed to cool off next week, and that's been pretty much it, just keeping busy.
Yeah. You can hear outside here right now, we've got a thunderstorm coming up. I guess if you don't hear it now, you'll probably be hearing it before the night's out, because it gets pretty loud up in here sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
This time of year.
Yeah, it was rattling the table earlier. I could feel it shaking.
Well, for those who don't recognize Jocelyn there, he's been on the show before. We see him every year up in Dayton. We see him at Huntsville. A fair amount too, and we'll be seeing him there.
And you see his son on here quite often as well.
Who's your son, Jocelyn?
Who are we talking about?
Yeah. that guy that's downstairs watching TV sucking up all the bandwidth.
Yeah, I told him not to do that. Yeah, he's KD8YVJ. Chris is his call sign KD8YVJ. Yeah, he is obviously summer break. Did great first year in high school, and they put the amateur radio club back on the air. Whiskey 8 Golf Yankee Hotel is their call sign.
Awesome.
Yeah, we've had Chris on here with us a number of times.
Oh yeah.
Always fun to visit with him and your whole family. Y'all are coming down to Huntsville, aren't you?
Yes, and we're bringing a few extra members from our club. We've mentioned how awesome Huntsville is, and we've got a few takers to come with us and experience it.
Oh, that's great.
Cool.
They'll enjoy it.
Yeah. What about you, Emile? Are you going to try to come over this year?
To Huntsville? I don't think I'm going to make Huntsville this year. Just the way things are lined up so far from what I see.
Yeah. Well, I'll be there, and Wayne will be there, and
Possibility I'm going to be there if I can find a hotel other than the one that has the mayor's suite for $589.
Well, you can bring that air mattress, and we'll put you in the corner over there.
Cheap it out. Cheap it out.
Cheap it out. We didn't get to camp out for field day this year.
Yeah, we'll talk about that here shortly. But yeah, that kind of was a little bit of a disappointment. Yeah,
well, Jocelyn, we were visiting in Dayton. Just seems like it was only a couple of months ago.
Yep.
And you mentioned to us that some of the trials and tribulations that a ham operator can go through if he wants to operate in, from another country. Tell us that story.
All right, yeah. So I'm originally from Canada. I live partially in the States, and I go back home more often. Well, I wish I could go more often, but anyways. And one of the things I do is we usually bring a QRP rig, or we bring a rig, and we operate, Chris and I. And Chris was on the air. Actually, I did the setup, and I was talking to a gentleman, and I gave him my American call sign, KD8VRX, and he mentioned that he said, "Oh, so you're American?" I said, "Well, no, I'm from this area." And he said, "Well, technically, you're not supposed to be transmitting." So I researched it with the Radio Amateurs of Canada. They were at Dayton. One guy told me I'm fine, and the other guy's like, "No, you're not." So I did a little bit of paperwork, and the agreement, the SEPT agreement that we have, says that if you have to be an American citizen to be able to transmit in Canada. Well, since I'm not an American citizen, I'm a Canadian citizen, I'm supposed to get a Canadian call sign. Oh. So I started with my endeavor with that fact. So that's how the whole process started of, okay, so I need it. And I did the research, and sure enough, it does clearly says if you are going to transmit in Canada and you've got an American call sign, you have to have a U.S. passport and obviously be a citizen. If not, I have to get their test. And it's not just for here, because it's SEP. That means anywhere else in the world I would want to operate, I would have to use my Canadian call sign. So like I said, I started digging into it and got licensed, and I can go in more details if you need me to.
Wow. Well, and so that would apply to say anyone that was from a different country that had moved to another country and was licensed in that country, but their citizenship is somewhere else. So not just you couldn't really operate in Canada. You couldn't operate anywhere but the U.S. then, huh?
That is correct. Oh. So I didn't realize it at the time, but I was very limited for that reason, that if I go anywhere else, I can't legally transmit. So I started, like I said, with their radios, Amateurs of Canada, went to their site. They have a Getting Started in Amateur Radio, which I kind of already knew, but in there they had the study guide online, and they also had the list of examiners. And it works a little bit differently over there. Here we have the 3 VEC systems, and you have to have the VEs, and you go through the exam. I just found this gentleman, Larry Doby, VE2DO, that lives, that wasn't too far, was probably 20 minutes away from where I was in Canada. And I just got in touch with him via email and said, what's required for me to pass the exam? And he said, study the license pool, just show up. We'll set a schedule, and then we'll get the test. Now, things are a little different. In the U.S., we have technician, general, extra. We have different classes. Over there, they have 3 levels, but it's different. You have basic, which is the equivalent roughly of technician. You have basic with honors, which is what I have, which means it's general, but you get HF. But here in the U.S., we limit the segment. There you get all of HF. You don't get just a little chunk. You get everything HF. And then the other license class is advanced, which is extra. And the difference between basic and honors and advanced is the amount of power you can use. If you're an advanced, you're allowed to repair radio equipment. And you can also be the trustee of a repeater and own a repeater. With basics, you can't do that, which for my operating was perfectly fine. So, and to get that or with honors, you have to pass the basic exam and either pass the 5 words per minute CW, and that's not my skill set, so that wasn't going to work. Score 80% or higher on the exam, which is what I did, or go to the advanced. Obviously, if you go to the advanced, you get the previous license or the previous level. So 70% to pass basics, 80% gets you basic with honors and HF. So that's what I achieved. And I showed up at the gentleman's house, and he sat on his workbench with all the radio gear. He moved to the next room. Well, he was standing to my side, and I just went at it. And it's here we have I think it's 30 or 35 questions per technician, and there it's 100. Wow. So it's not it's a little longer to take, and it's very similar to the U.S. stuff. There was just a few things that were specific. They had a whole section on the healthcare, so to speak, like how RF. One of the questions that I remember is what organ in your body is more susceptible to RF. And they give you liver, eyes. Eyes was the answer. That's the first thing that'll be affected. What's the effect of RF on body tissue? Obviously, it'll heat it up. So there's a few more things there concerning general health that they question you on. So anyway, so I went to Larry's house and I passed the exam. And then he said, okay, we'll put it into the computer. And he logs in with his account. And he looks at me and he said, do you have a call sign you want? So you get to pick your call sign. I was able to pick my call sign. So we were looking at what was available. And since my suffix here is VRX, I thought I'd just keep that and keep it simple.
No, that works out good. Yeah. And you're lucky, I guess, to be able to find that one, huh?
Yeah, I wanted VE2 VRX, but that was already taken. So I went with Victor Alpha 2 VRX since that was available. And then the license there is valid for life, so there is no renewal and there was no fee. So everything was done. I just have to prove. I gave proof of citizenship, and he gave photo ID, and I started and I took the exam. So
you may have mentioned it and I didn't catch it, but is Larry just another licensed amateur there, or is he actually an examiner?
He is both. He is an examiner. You have to pass a different test to become examiners. But like I said, they don't need, like we have the 3 here, the 3 VEs, and there he just can do it by himself. And it was on the website, and it just says, okay, you want to find a accredited examiner, and you can look by zip code, by area code, and it just lists, here's the people. And I just sent him an email and said I'd be happy to do it, and it was quite easy.
Oh, well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's very cool. That's it's pretty interesting. I just never really thought you would have had that issue like that. Obviously, you didn't either.
No, and like I said, when I went to Dayton and I asked at the RAC booth, they were 2 gentlemen and I got 2 different answers. I know it's shocking coming from him. So you ask one question, you get different opinions. But that's exactly what I got, and I thought, okay. And the guy's like, no. He's like, you need to research this. He's like, I don't think you're legally allowed to do it, to transmit in Canada. So, anyways, now Christopher, my son, is American, so he was able to use it. Like I said, I just happened to find out while I was testing out the rig. So wow. Somebody there knew something.
Yeah. So Chris actually had one up on you in that case.
Oh yes, don't worry. He was making sure that I knew about it too.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
And my son would have taken advantage of that as well if he'd had the opportunity.
Yeah. Well, Emile, I mean, how does all this sound to you? Or You being from the country of Louisiana, are you able to operate, say, if you came to Mississippi?
Yes, in the foreign territory of the New Orleans metropolitan area, we are allowed to transmit and receive.
So we do have reciprocity with Louisiana.
Yes, it's reciprocal from the rest of the country in here, yes.
And you're limited to what, 10 kilowatts? Is that?
10 kilowatts, and got to be careful when there's a Super Bowl in town.
Yeah,
remember that incident.
Yep. Wow. Well, any questions for Jocelyn on this there? That's pretty doggone interesting.
No.
And I'm seeing here Mike V3MIC pointing at a thing. You have to have a Canadian mailing address. That's all that's required to get a Canadian call.
So how did you pull that off?
I still have plenty of family back home.
Ah, okay.
So,
Cool.
So then Christopher said, so I could get one too. And I said, well, yeah, you just have to study. And as soon as I said that, he was like, I got to go through this again. Mine is good. I'm good.
Yeah, well, he's at least he's covered up there. So
yeah.
Well, that's pretty cool, and we're glad to know that you're legal now.
Yeah. Well, I was always legal here. I just wasn't legal anywhere else.
Yeah, that is kind of weird. You know,
at least I won't have to see you in the Canadian jail up there for transmitting the north of the border.
Yeah, with the QRP rig. That would be bad now. Well, I was only doing 5 watts.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, you are a member of the Voice of America Amateur Radio Club, aren't you?
That is exactly right. That's when I first got licensed. That was the first club I went to. Quick story here. Before I got licensed, I wanted to do Jamboree in the Air with the Scouts. And not having, I know it's amateur radio. Where can I find a club? Found the ARL site. They linked me up with VOA, and they said, "Oh, we're always looking for operators to help out at these events." And then I got sucked in, and I just started going there. I really didn't have any other idea how the other clubs were. So, but I got lucky. It's a great group.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we love the VOA. We know a number of those guys now, and they gave us a great tour a few years back here, and that's one of the best episodes that we've.
Oh yeah, that was awesome. Matter of fact, we didn't go this last year. Next year I actually wouldn't mind going back out there again. I'm sure it hadn't changed much.
A lot of things has changed. So I would say if you haven't been in a few years, stop on by, because you'll be surprised how things have evolved since then.
Cool.
Sounds like a plan.
We need to do that.
Yeah. So you went there this year for their field day, of course, and you brought a few loaders along, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Well, let's take a look at some of these here. You tell us what's going on and maybe who's there.
So here, what we do is, because we have such a nice facility and a lot of lawn in the front, we always set up in the front lawn, which is between the museum and the road, so people can kind of see what we're doing. And with the museum being open, we've got some traffic. So this is just a push-up mass. I think there's Denny, Mike, and Gary. Our Gary is KDV. And Dennis is call sign escapes me, and ADPG. There we go. Anyways, it's a push-up mass, and we're setting up here I think that's the 4080 NVIS antenna.
Okay, and that's like a dipole, except it's got traps on either end there?
Correct. That's 480, just to because it's loaded. And it's on we're going to set it low for NVIS local communications for that one. So I'm the furthest one to the right.
Well, looks like George there too, looking on.
Yeah, so that's I forget his name. I know he's a great CW operator. He comes every field day.
George.
Every now and then he'll come by. And the other gentleman with me is Mike, KB8ZYE. And I think we're just getting the ground rods put in and stuff for the stations, and then you see the museum all the way there in the back.
Wow. How many tents did y'all have set up out there? Was it I see at least two there in that photo.
Yeah, we usually run as a 4 alpha, so we usually have 4 set up. And then there's somebody that has a trailer. So either the trailer is operating because he doesn't stay the whole time, or the other tent will be in use.
Is this the push-up we were looking at earlier, or is this another antenna?
That is another antenna. This was the gentleman in the step ladder is Andy, ND8D, and he came up with this 160 top-loaded vertical antenna, and it took a while to set up. I'll put it that way. And that's one of, we always say with field day you always learn something, and that was one of those things where it required a lot of manpower to set up, and it did okay, but it didn't do extremely well. We were saying how next year maybe we'll, instead of experimenting on field day, we should experiment before field day and get ready for figure out what works and just go with that. Sorry.
We had somebody on the ladder too, but nobody ever really called him a gentleman.
No.
I guess we'll see that shortly.
And we were experimenting on it too. So, yeah, that's a novel idea there. Work out the kinks ahead of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another mental note taken.
That show was a nice satellite dish y'all put up in the background.
Yeah, that satellite dish is used for EME. So it's got two of our club members rebuilt that, because when the VOA was decommissioned, the government basically took a lot of the stuff away. So the actuator motors were stripped. So basically, they had to rebuild the whole thing. The dish was there. It's got a little shack in the back with AC. And these two gentlemen, Mike Murphy and Jim, and his last name escapes me at the time. Anyways, they basically rebuilt the whole thing, and we use it for EME communications.
Wow.
A lot of guy ropes there.
Yeah. What the other guy ropes are for the other antennas that are basically in the back of the frame of the picture. So not what you're seeing in front, but if you're taking the picture, everything is to our back, and those are the guy ropes that are getting in. Because you can see a ladder line there on the top left, from the left to the right, or going up. That's the ladder line of another antenna.
Wow.
So how many do you have up altogether?
We had 4 stations.
4?
4, yep.
Okay, so
that's Gary. That's one of the tents we have. That's Gary KDV, and he's doing a little operating there. I'm not quite sure which tent he was on, but that's our typical setup. Try to get some hair moving through it.
Mm-hmm. Are you running on generator?
We were running on generator. We do a lot of services for the township. So one of the benefits we get is the township brings 2 humongous generators that they use with the floodlights for construction sites. So we don't run the lights, we just run the generator. So we usually have plenty of power. We don't have to worry about refueling them because we just don't take enough load for them to run out. So we're quite fortunate to be able to operate that way.
God, that's a good setup. It'd be nice if somebody brought us a generator, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would. I didn't see any visqueen or air conditioner on your tent.
Now, the only thing we had was fans. If you look in the bottom of there was a fan to help just kind of move the breeze a little bit. So all the radios are running on that, and all the computers were running off of the generators as well. And then we also have a hardwired line for Ethernet or Internet Ethernet going through our network. So I'm the IT guy for the club. So one of the things we did this year that we've been doing for 2 years is, instead of everybody having a full client, so to speak, on we use the N3FJP software. Sorry, I'm a little bit over the place. But what we did is we set up a remote desktop server. So in the building is a server that's in our server room, and then everybody just initiates a remote desktop connection to it and logs from it. So if there's any communication or somebody rips the wires, everything is still saved on the server.
Oh, that's interesting.
And just to be make Emile super happy, we use the Windows Server trial version, which is good for 180 days, and the remote desktop free trial is 120 days. So really, the software was free to do this, except for the logging software.
Man, you really cheaped out good.
There you go.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's in this next one here?
So that's our typical setup. So we have laptops, and yeah, like I said, you can see the red wire there, so everything's hardwired connected most of the time. And just a table, chair, and there's a ground rod a little bit to the right to ground everything properly. And that's, like I said, our typical setup. And there's lights in the top of the tent for nighttime operating, although we need backlit keyboards. Somebody made that comment, and I think that's a very valid one.
Yeah, that could be a problem at night, couldn't it?
Yeah.
I do notice one thing about that photo there. He's got a nice speaker, and then it just occurred to me, since you're set up in 4 different tents, the operators don't have to wear headsets.
Oh, yeah.
Correct. We're far enough apart that we don't really hear the other one, not distinctly. And the other reason for the speaker is as people are walking by to go to the museum or stuff, that they get to kind of hear what's going on.
Yeah. Usually, if people are walking by our field day site, Wayne has to get the gun out and go see what's going on.
Might be a bear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And here is the club call sign right here.
Yep, WC8VOA. That was one of the stations, and I'm there. And then we're just set up. And like I said, this is I think that was the GOTA station, and that may have been last year. But anyways, so that again, that's our typical setup, and just to make sure that people know who we are and they can stop by and talk and figure out what we do and what we're doing for.
Cool.
Yeah, that was a really nice setup, Jocelyn. And you guys are right there by that main road too, so that big banner, I'm hoping you got some people to come in.
Yeah, and like I said, we also have the museum banner that says, okay, we're open and come and see. We have tours and stuff, so we got some people on that came in. Chris and I and a few other people were working, I think we were there Saturday from 9:30 till about 2:30 in the morning. And we had a couple of visitors about 10 o'clock or so. One of them is, I think I can't remember, the dad's just got licensed. His son is looking into it. He's a scout. I think we met him at Jamboree in the Air last year. So one of the things we do also with the museum being open is on the weekends we do Jamboree on the Air. So if you're a scout, you can come in for free into the museum and try to talk to other scouts around the world. So Jeff, the guy that showed up with his son, and we got him on the air again this year.
Oh,
so
cool. Oh, great.
This room looks kind of familiar here, doesn't it, Tommy?
Yep. Yeah, we've been in there a few times.
Yep. So that's still on the unfinished part of the museum, and that was our dining hall. We have a member, Mark K8CIE, that was nice enough to organize everything for food and make sure everybody was fed. So that was on Saturday after we just finished getting after lunch, and we were going to finish the setup on whatever needed to be done. So yeah, we're pretty lucky. We have a lot of people that come out and help. So it's always good.
Don't you notice something funny about that picture? None of them's clothes are drenched with sweat, and they don't look like they've been abused.
Yeah, true. Yeah. What's up with that?
Just a little different weather than what we might have had.
Yeah.
We were in that room one year for, let's see, it was an ICOM event.
Yeah. I think they had their dinner there.
Yeah, they had their dinner inside that room right there. So.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, good stuff, Jocelyn. We appreciate you bringing that along tonight and kind of showing us, how VOA does field day. Yeah,
no, we're glad to do it. And like we've said, the museum's open. If anybody wants to come by, stop by. It's open 1 to 4 on Saturday and Sunday every weekend. There's a nominal fee to get in, and if you're an amateur, stop by the Ham Shack, let us know, and you can operate from the station.
Okay.
Actually,
cool.
we have 7 positions right now. With anything from, I think our newest rig is a 7300, and the oldest rig it's a tie between the FT101E and the TS520.
Wow.
That's a really great place to have a ham club too.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
that's kind of ideal, really, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
An old radio station, man, you can't really beat that.
I bet they even had running water.
And they may have actually had flushing toilets and everything.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, one of the benefits.
Well, Jocelyn, are you going to hang around with us for a while?
Yeah, sure, why not?
Okay.
Oh, cool.
Well, we're going to be back in just a couple of minutes here. Keep on going. I did fail to mention something at the front of the show that we always mention. If you're watching live, we've got a chat room. You can jump in there and chat with the fine folks in there and poke fun at the guest. Or host. We probably won't see it.
Yeah.
We might. We do look in there every now and then. But join us, AmateurLogic.TV/chat, whenever we're shooting live.
Yeah. If you're watching the live stream and you're not in the chat room, you're missing half the fun.
But which half? That's the question.
Yeah, you'll have to figure that part out.
Yep. All right, we'll be back in just a moment, so don't go anywhere. Heard it, worked it, logged it. It's time to get the transceiver that's best suited for your lifestyle. ICOM offers a variety of high-performance and innovative products. See how you can make the most out of contest season with these transceivers. The competitive edge you've been looking for, raise the bar and hear what others cannot with this flagship HF 50 MHz transceiver, the IC7851. Reciprocal mixing dynamic range, crystal clear local oscillator design, spectrum scope, dual receivers, and digital voice recorder. The IC7610 is the SDR every ham wants, and just in time for contesting season. This high-performance SDR has the ability to pick out the faintest signals, even in the presence of stronger adjacent signals. The new ICOM IC7610 is a direct sampling, software-defined radio that will change the world's definition of a SDR transceiver. RF direct sampling, 110 RMDR, independent dual receiver, dual digicell. IC7300 is changing the way entry-level HF is designed. This high-performance innovative HF transceiver with a compact design will far exceed your expectations. RF direct sampling, 15 discrete bandpass filters, large 4.3-inch color touchscreen, real-time spectrum scope, and SD memory card slot. Visit ICOMAmerica.com/amateur for more information on all the great ICOM radios. The cheapo man is going to show us how they do field day down in South Louisiana now.
Cajun style.
Cajun style.
I don't know about Cajun style. No, I think we were the ones that were being cooked.
Oh, yeah. I can believe it. So the first one is just is this your QSL card?
Yeah, so we use this as our Facebook. You know, you get points for being social media aware and getting the word out there, and this was in our newsletter and something I put together so that we could get the word out so people would show up.
Yeah, we need an alligator fire logo too. Yeah. I've got a shirt that's got one on it. But
yeah. You still got one? You probably had that for a long time.
Yeah, I may not. Now that I think about it.
We could put the weather dog for ours.
Yeah, some of our leaders, that's on our website, the W5SLA website, and some of our leaders of the club actually put that together and drew all the artwork that's in that webpage. So that's where I plagiarized it from.
Yeah, it looks nice.
Yeah. All right, tell us about this first setup here.
All right. That is the my field day station when it was beginning to get put together there. You can see the battery on the right-hand side, and in that little battery box is an inverter that's feeding, and also the deep cycle marine battery. So the inverter is feeding a little surge strip that goes behind that monitor, and what you don't see in the picture is the laptop that I was using. I brought my Ubuntu, a Linux laptop with all the software to work the digital modes out there in the field, and that's my ICOM 9100. And I actually did bring the little Astron power supply too. It all ran off of it. I was out there for at least 5 hours, and again, it didn't put a dent in that battery, and it all worked. I was running the full, between 75 and 100 watts what if I could, whatever I could get to tune up to the 400, I got it. So a little bit further off in the field there, you'll see my MFJ 1919 tripod. Up at the top of that was my B Squared Engineering J pole, dual band J pole, coming back to the rig. And also, it's not in this picture, but I put my MFJ auto tuner, 300 watt auto tuner at the bottom of this, and then ran a wire into the trees behind me from this position. So that's about what's in this picture and all the gear I get to lug with me.
Okay, cool. Did you notice anything strange about that photo, Tommy?
Just the LSU thing.
Well, other than that, you know, that's a nice portable table there. That is not concrete blocks and a couple of old boards.
Yeah.
Is that cheap old man compliant?
Did you get that on sale, Emile?
Well, I'm pretty sure I didn't pay for it, so...
that makes it cheap enough.
Yeah.
It was borrowed.
All right, this next one here, I see you brought your own shade.
I did. This is me and some of the guys set up in general, the truck in the background this year. This year I did not put the mast on the back of my truck like I did before, since I had the auto tuner and some wire. But those guys were instrumental in helping me get some of the wire and antennas up. And the all-important ice chest over there to the right in this picture, full of water and tea and whatever else, because it was in the hundreds, literally.
And where were y'all set up? What is this area here?
The area is the field right adjacent to the W5 SLA Emergency Communication Center. It's an EOC. So this is the field that's next to the club.
Y'all did not take advantage of the air conditioning in the building then, I see.
Well, I didn't, but you're going to see some others that did.
Okay. All right. We just wanted to be sure about that. It seemed like, oh, wait a minute. Who is this guy here?
Before that started, one of the sets of points that you could get was if you had a lesson plan and an education plan and you gave a session, and this was our version of that. We had a lot of new hams show up that have never worked field day or never knew what was going on. So we did an educational lesson plan here that covered safety, like Jocelyn was talking about earlier, RF safety. We covered, what does the 5 Foxtrot mean? All of those things that a new ham won't have a clue unless they go through and read the, an 80-page packet?
Yeah.
So we held a briefing. One of the other things we did here was we had our safety officer, even though we operated as an ECC or an EOC 5 Foxtrot, we couldn't get the points for a safety officer because of that. That's one of the rules. But we did it anyway. And we had some people who are EMTs and very trained. I think it's KG5 FRI. Henry and his friend came over, and they gave us some safety tips for the heat and for staying hydrated and for not eating too many ribs.
Cool. So there is an award for that.
For not eating ribs?
The educational. Yeah, wait, for the ribs or for the...
Yeah.
No, if you do the educational lesson plan and you send it in to them, and that was my proof that I submitted to the ARRL to get that 100 points.
Ah, okay. Now, who is this guy here?
Well, there you go. That's our friend in the chat room down here, KG5CN, Glenn. And that's Glenn setting up his his vertical. Hold on, I got that model. He got MFJ's 2389 antenna. I think he bought it at Lafayette Hamfest when we were out there, and that's the 8-band portable vertical that they have. I don't know if you guys ever seen that thing, but he outperformed me in the field, I can tell you that, and I went and operated his station for a while just because of that antenna, and I'm gonna pretty much guarantee I'll probably get one for next year.
Another guy that looks kind of familiar here to me, I can't remember his call sign or name though.
Oh, yeah.
That is W5DGM, and I hope I can say it like him. He's got fascinating audio gear in his setup, and You know, he does work for the broadcast industry as a transmitter engineer. That's Dominic Mitchum.
Yeah.
And down here, there's I think it's Channel 4, and he's with a group actually. So he was there. In fact, he was one of the 2 or 3 reasons we could actually operate as a amateur extras as the club. You know, they're the control operators and trustees of the club's equipment, etc. So there's Dominic. We wouldn't have a field day without him.
Wow. Well, that's mighty nice of him.
And then there was Glenn in the background there. I saw his station, but I think there might be another one.
Yeah, I saw Glenn.
Yeah. There's Glenn operating on that vertical, and I think he might have had another antenna on his FT991.
Yeah, that's where I work field day.
Yes. So Manny Myers is our Aries leader here in the parish. He also carries a mean set of barbecue pits on his trailer there. And he fed this club. I mean, when it was eating time, you couldn't hear anything going on because he made some ribs that just knocked us all out. And he did the job. And he brought some utes right there. If you see the utes.
Some utes? Yeah, I saw the utes there. Now, you know, that ought to be worth a lot of bonus points there, ribs.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Cooked on site.
That's probably in the rules somewhere.
Yeah, gotta be.
We did come up with some funny names. I did not bring them with me. I think I posted them in our Facebook page, but we'll have to look at that. We had names for all of the food. And there you go. There's somebody in the back, one of the back rooms we have operating. There's 3 stations back there. He's on the Kimwood TS2000. And we got the Pro 3 from ICOM back there. That's all digital hooked up. And the one to the left there is the FT897, which is a packet station. Basically, that's what we used it for. And we usually hunt in packs here, but I guess one of them was the cameraman in this case. You know, you got one guy spotting and the other guy logging, or one guy, you know, getting the contacts or calling. The one thing we have to figure out how to do better is basically how to coordinate who's on which band. It's one of the things we learned, you know, lessons learned from this field day, because you can really knock somebody's front end out when you're on the same band, especially when you have 5 stations. So
did you damage any radios, or you just had interference?
Yeah, it was just interference.
That's something we kind of watch for here, is to make sure everybody's on a different band. There has been an occasion where 2 folks got on the same band, but and using those bandpass filters that we bought last year, used them again this year. Those helped out a lot.
Yeah, they're great. They're just a hassle if you want to change bands.
Because you have to
swap filters with somebody. But other than that, they do the job really well.
Yeah, they do. Well, Emile, that's looks like y'all had a fun field day down there. I don't know that I would have picked out the shack to operate from outdoors. I think I would have really preferred to have operated from the building there, but you know,
it's field day, right? Field day.
But somebody has to be out in the field.
Yep,
that's right. I'm voluntold to be that person, in fact, as the field day chairman for W5SLA. So I get to be in the field for field day.
Okay. Well, that makes sense to me. Well, we're going to talk a little bit about some of the stuff we had here for field day, some of the things we did this year. We used some familiar antennas and some new antennas as well.
Some unfamiliar ones?
Some unfamiliar ones. I think this is
I think that's a... oh yeah, that's the buck.
Yeah. When you go outside and you take your camera first out and it's really hot outside, you get that kind of hazy look there from the fog in your camera.
You must have drank a lot of coffee before you went out there.
I did. I was in a
so
hurry.
Hot. That's why he's moving so fast.
Yeah. So I'm putting together the Cobweb antenna there. Yeah, Tommy used that this year. Yeah, that's basically a bunch of halfwave dipoles kind of, you know, put on a frame there. It's not a directional antenna. It's dipole, so it's omnidirectional. A lot of bands. It starts at 20 meters and goes on up. Did it go through 6 or was it just 10? I don't remember.
It did 6, but my tuner didn't.
Yeah. Okay, that's right. So
it needs to be tuned a little bit on 6.
Yeah. So we've put this one together a time or two before. We used it last year, and that's how you tune it. You see those little metal tabs they got on the end? That's how you change the length of the wire, and just that little bit, changing one screw hole there, you can see it actually makes a difference tuning it. And that thing, man, the tuning is pretty much right on it.
Except for 6.
Except for 6. And probably just, I don't know why it wasn't.
I don't know. We'll probably need to check it before next time, though. But that thing really performed well. We had it on a couple of pieces of actually fence posts, I think that was, and we had it guided off by three ropes tied off, kind of nearby.
So that was 20 feet. Yeah.
With a tripod.
How was the performance?
The performance was great. If most of the time, if I heard somebody and I called them, they came right back to me. It worked really well. I was happy with it. Very happy with it.
Cool. We had a video that you shot here while Wayne and I were hanging Off Center Fed Dipole.
Yeah, I tried to shoot it.
It was time to start the Lcf installation process, and I was getting the camera ready, so I missed the launch event. George and Wayne went ahead and shot the line across the limb. Got a really good shot on it and got across a very high limb, so it should be a really good install this.
Nice one. Don't let it get away.
It's like a string fish.
You're going to need a whole mess of those.
If you get buck on the reel or something, it's fighting.
What we doing now, Wayne? We scaling it?
Yeah.
All right. Looks like we're going up with it. There it goes.
Yeah.
Well, it's time to look and see how we're going to get the coax up there and what all is going to be in the way when we raise it up. There are quite a few antennas already erected here in the backyard.
It sure is an ugly balun.
Yeah. I'm not going to tape it up for today. It's only going to be up for a weekend.
It's just a temporary field day set up anyways.
Yeah. Alright, that's the long one. So the short one's going that way.
So we get to action.
Will you take that on for a while?
That's my cue to get to work.
Just stupendous action there.
Yeah, it was. It was. And that music put a tear to my eye when we were listening to it.
Yeah. I think a couple of folks watching nodded off.
Yeah.
Sort of like a lullaby there. So we did get that antenna up. That was the Off Center Fed Dipole 40-meter version. When it's time to raise your antennas quickly, nothing beats the weight, strength, and ease of fiberglass mast. And nobody offers you more choices in quality fiberglass masts than MFJ. MFJ 1918 and 1919 series portable tripods include strong steel bases and non-skid feet with fiberglass masts and heights of 6, 7.8, 9.5, or 18 feet. For heavy-duty requirements, choose a MFJ 1904, 1906, or 1908 super strong fiberglass mast, available in 10, 22, 25, 33, 43, or 50-foot heights. 0.125-inch thick-wall fiberglass tubing has the strength necessary to support real weight, including small yagis, verticals, loops, full-size dipoles, and more. Standard and H models have 2-inch outer diameter bottom sections and 3/4-inch OD top sections and come with strong stainless steel hose clamps. Optional military-quality UV-protected quick clamps are available. HD models are extra heavy-duty and have 2.5-inch OD bottom sections and 1-inch OD top sections and include quick clamps. For quick and easy deployment of MFJ's 1904, 1906, and 1908 series super strong fiberglass mast, add a giant 5.5-foot super heavy-duty tripod. With an 8-foot diameter footprint, these tripods are perfect for holding massive antennas with big masts sturdy and safely. For extra stability, add MFJ's 1905 tripod anchor foot braces. These heavy stainless steel feet also allow you to add ground spikes for high winds and unlevel grounds safely. For super quick deployment of lightweight wire antennas like inverted V's or dipoles, nothing beats MFJ's 1910 through 1917 lightweight telescopic portable mast. Choose your height from 10 to 43 feet and rapidly raise your antenna in just seconds. They're perfect for field day, traveling, camping, hotels, hamfests, D-expeditions, or anywhere you need to get on the air quick. Don't let their super lightweight fool you, though. These telescopic masts are made of high-strength fiberglass sections that quickly twist and lock into place. Check out MFJ's quality fiberglass mast today at mfjenterprises.com. I used this antenna this year. You used it some too, didn't you?
No, I actually
didn't use this.
I didn't use it. Wayne may have.
Well, I guess I swapped out with Wayne. He used it a little bit too. But I used one of MFJ's new Hex Beam antennas this year. This one is 40 meters on up. After I had assembled the spreaders there, it's 3 separate fiberglass rods for each one of the spreaders there, the telescope. You can see I've had the clips mounted on there that the wire string around. And to put a hex beam together, I did some reading on the internet to find out how other folks were doing it. Start out with a 5-gallon bucket in the middle. You wouldn't have guessed that, would you?
No. I'm glad you told us, though.
You know, you wouldn't think about it, but that's a very important part of it. So I laid out all my elements basically where they should be. Stuck one end up on 5-gallon bucket there. This is after I assembled a part of it. I've got the mounting plate together there. See how all that went together, and that's why you need the bucket, because that mount that's on the bottom of that assembly there is sitting down inside the bucket. Right. This holds it up off the ground. I did not read about the cardboard boxes, so you need cardboard boxes too.
That wasn't in the instructions?
That wasn't in the instructions. You put one of those out under each spreader there to kind of hold them up while you try to put those bolts in that mounting plate there in the middle. You can see those little coils of wire there. That's the driven elements for the different bands. Starting at the very bottom, that's 6 meters. Here's a little close-up of that. That's
okay.
You know, a little bit closer in. What I did is I had put as much of this together as I could in advance, thinking we were going to be going to the woods field day this year.
Yeah. That
didn't work out due to thunderstorms, so I ended up just assembling it in the backyard. Of course, we operated out of the shack this year because...
well, I'm just going to say that without them having to seeing the rest of the install, that would have been pretty tough to do out there.
It would have taken
in the situation we had.
Yeah. So doing this saved a lot of time. I did all of this stuff before y'all even showed up on site. Did this like Friday night, right before thunderstorm. There's another little closer picture there. You can see that fiberglass pole in the back. And then there's 2 aluminum tubes that go up. That's the feed points for the different bands of the antenna.
Okay.
And you hook your elements into there. And then that side, well, that's how it distributes out to the different bands is through those aluminum tubes right there. This is what's on top. You put Dacron cord around there, and these pieces of cord here are used to pull up the ends of the elements. Next one here, this is when I've actually started putting it together. You can see a couple of the elements are kind of strung around there. I'm starting to put the insulators in. This is actually a beam, and I wish I had a better picture here. We're going to do some more of this in the future, though, looking at this antenna a little bit closer. Essentially how it was going together, I had to get off of the 5-gallon bucket, though.
Oh, yeah.
And I went
you had to migrate
horses.
up to sawhorses.
Yeah, because it was kind of bad on the back trying to bend over, and there were a lot of wires to run through.
That's a lot to fit in the bucket anyway.
Yeah. It took a little bit of doing to get that thing in the air.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Yeah. We were having trouble getting it up, man. I swear it. We actually had to do it twice. We've got it on top of a 43-foot fiberglass telescopic pole with a giant tripod. That came from MFJ as well. Tommy's on the ladder there. I'm running around. I'm going to operate the nut driver to tighten up those hose clamps on the pipe. Tommy is going to pull up
and keep from falling.
Yeah, Wayne is going to hold the tripod from going up when Tommy tries to pull up the antenna. And of course we sped it up a little bit there.
In their typical style, it was the first round was a calamity of malfunctions.
Yeah, we were trying to use the quick clips. Those aren't good for lifting a 26-pound antenna.
Yeah. Well, and we didn't glue the bottoms down because
yeah, because we didn't.
You weren't sure if you were going to use it later.
So we ended up using hose clamps. That come with the fiberglass pole there. By the way, this is a really nice pole. Maybe putting a 40-meter hex beam up is a little more than you want to put on it. But we were only using it, for field days, so we went ahead and raised it up. You can see the antenna is already assembled right there. The ends of the...
You just need to hang some socks from under it, stuff like that.
Right, yeah, a couple gourds.
Yep, yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah. We've got the guy ropes kind of basically tied on there.
Is that the possum fence we see in the bottom?
That is the possum fence, yes. I think the antenna was about to start getting heavy at this point.
No, I'm pretty sure it was already heavy.
Oh, it was. It just didn't get heavy right now.
Yeah, it just wasn't heavy when you were holding that piece of rope.
Yeah. Let's see, Wayne came over and had a look at it. Apparently, I don't know what he's saying, but the wind was starting to kick up there as well.
Yeah, it took like maybe 3 times as long to put that thing up as we kind of counted on.
Yeah, we were late getting started operating the field day by the time we got that phase. Of course, we had to guide off. It's 26-pound antenna, so you need to use some proper precautions. But it is directional on all the bands except the 30 and 40. So you do have a little gain. Now you can see we don't have a rotor there on it.
But you did have a wind-driven rotor.
It was wind-driven, so you really didn't know which way you were pointing. If you look at the logs, you can see.
Wow, I don't remember it swaying that much.
Yeah, it kind of did.
Well, obviously.
Yeah. We didn't. It got close there a couple of times. You can tell.
Look at, lock it down right there. That's pretty straight.
Yeah. And I think that's. Yeah. Well,
it was some kind of hot out there too, man.
It was.
Anyway, we guided off by three places. It worked out pretty well. Next year, we have to put it back up there. A little bit of fun. It's all part of the fun, though, right? So we were trying to figure out which way the beam was pointed on it, and we kind of figured it out. Went back out, looked again later, and it turned about 180 degrees around all by itself.
That actually, the video of us raising the hex beam was actually 20 minutes. A video there that I kind of compressed down to.
That's all?
Yeah.
I felt like we were out there a lot more than 20 minutes.
We were. That was just the 20 minutes that we could show. We compressed it down to about 5 minutes, and I was thinking, you know, I really wish we could have done this a little faster. It did take a long time to put that antenna up. We were a little slow getting on the field day operating, so I think I've got a plan for how we can do this next year, Tommy.
Well, let's see it.
Action! So that's how we'll do it next year.
That was a lot faster.
It was. It just got right to the point there.
We're just going to have a lot of coffee before we get started.
Probably so. So we've got one more piece of video here that we want to play. But I tell you what, first, why don't we just take a quick break?
Okay.
And we're going to come back, and we got one more field day video to go.
Okay.
At the end of each month, it's AmateurLogic's Ham College, the new show for those new to the hobby and those wanting to get into amateur radio.
Which of the following is a purpose of the amateur radio service as stated in the FCC rules and regulations?
That inductor and capacitor form a tuned circuit. That's how you tune the radio to the frequency that you want. the English language.
We lived in town. I liked it. I listened to mine a lot. It was really cool because you didn't have to have a battery to power it.
There's our homemade telegraph station. We can use it for long distance communications. Oh, like, 3 feet here?
Across the table. The answer is B. Voltage was named after Italian physicist Alessandro Volta.
We can see we're generating a little bit of electricity there. It's DC.
It's always great to go back and get a refresher.
It sure is.
A lot of that stuff, if you've been a ham for a while like we have, you don't really think about a lot of that stuff that often.
They didn't have electric screwdrivers in those days, so that's why we're not using one.
That's why we went primitive with it.
Yeah. So let's see if we can hear anything when we fire off our spark gap transmitter.
Oh yeah.
Well, we didn't build anything or blow up anything today, but
the night's still young.
And we'll be doing another ham college at the end of the month.
Yep. It's going to be on a Thursday this time, though.
We think, yeah.
Most likely. So stay tuned for the postings on that. Got a few conflicts with Friday and the weekend.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to actually be on vacation at the last day of the month, I hope.
Yeah.
Are y'all still in the general pool?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I'll pay attention when I get to the extra pool.
Yeah. You should probably start paying attention now because when we get to the extra pool, it's going to be every man for himself. Okay, well.
And even though we're extras.
We're not sure how that happened, but it did. One final piece of video here tonight. This is the stations that each of us ran here at Field Day this year. We always do that for Field Day. It's pretty much the same gear we used last year. I don't think there were a lot of changes, but let's take a look at that and we'll be right back.
I'm working 40 right at the moment. It's doing a lot better now that we got the off center fed up and got off the vertical, but it's pretty crowded. Pretty crowded.
What gear are you using?
I'm using your Sony headphones, which I have used every field day because I'm too cheap to go buy my own. Just because I have no place at home to really put up an antenna to use them. So my LDG Z100 tuner, Yaesu FT897.
There's a filter back there, isn't it?
Yep, that's one of the ones that we got last year from DX Engineering.
And I think those have really been helping out a lot.
Seem to be. We still get a little bit of.
Yeah, but it's not bad. I mean, we lived through most of what I've been hearing. I don't know about you, but
yeah, I'll hear a little bit every now and then when somebody keys up, but it definitely has helped. Running my Daiwa variable power supply.
All the same stuff
Juliet Delta X-ray.
you used last year, except you're running a new laptop this year.
That's pretty much it. The other one kind of, it still works, but it's really, really slow.
So would you say you're logging more contacts because of the new computer there?
No, I would not say that. I do have my Tar Heel controller back here. Initially had that set up out there on the little outpost, and it was working, but 40 was kind of dead earlier this afternoon.
Yeah.
And I mean, it may do okay, but I mean, for a quick antenna to get up, that little Tar Heel on that outpost is excellent just to get on the air, but it's not the greatest antenna in the world for trying to play field day and busting pileups. But it did all right, and like I said, we got that off center fed up, and that's definitely helped a lot. Of course, it's getting darker, so that helped too.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to see what Tommy's doing back there.
3 Delta Mike Sierra, 3 Delta Mississippi.
What are you running this year? The same stuff you ran last year?
Same old, same old. I've got my ICOM 7100. I've got my MFJ tuner, my 939 tuner. I'm still using the same filters that we bought last year. Those have been indispensable, really. But I'm using a different power supply this year. I've got the little MFJ compact 30 amp switching supply this year. And my same Heil headphones that I had before.
And the same antenna.
Same antenna I had last year, but I did get out the glasses, like I said a few minutes ago.
Well, I can see that's your secret to success this year.
Well, it did. I put them on. I made the contact right off the bat, so I don't even know why I took them off.
All right, man, I'll let you get back to it.
Okay.
Well, this is my setup here. I'm at the desk. I've got a monitor connected to my IC7700 over here, so I can kind of see what's going on. I'm also, I've got the N1MM logger running back here, and in the foreground there I've got FL Digi, and I've been working some CW with that. I actually made a few contacts, and I don't know CW, but this allows me to kind of cheat. I don't think it's really as good as if you can actually copy CW. You probably do a little better than this, because some of those guys go pretty fast. But this is a way you can do it, and it has worked.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
It's kind of cheating, but we'll claim it.
Yeah, we'll claim them, just like anything else we can get on the log there.
So your rig over here, how many watts are you running on that?
I'm running 150 watts. That's the IC7700. Yeah, I got cables all strung into it so that I can do CW right now. I would like to run the item right above the rig, but since it's field day, I'm not running that. But,
Yeah, no, it's turned off.
yep. It would be nice to run a little more power though, but we're playing fair.
Yeah, I heard somebody on the radio yesterday claiming he was running 400 watts.
Well, you can, I think, but you know, you're a little different class if you do. So your points don't count as much.
Yeah. All right, well, that's a nice
Yeah.
setup.
This is my other rig right here. I've been running Ham Shack Hotline on this one.
You make any QSOs?
I've made a couple of QSOs on there, but of course you can't put those in the log.
Yeah, not this year, but probably by next year they may add that class.
They might. They might.
You think they'll add that class? Probably not.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah.
I wouldn't think so. So that's how we had to operate this year from the shack once again. Dwayne and I went out, cleared out the campsite. Really nice.
Again.
Really nice big area. We were all ready to go, and then we were going to set up on, we're going to go up there Friday afternoon, set the tents and all up, and, well, thunderstorms.
Yep.
So,
I mean, some serious ones too.
Serious. We would not have been able to pitch tents in that. So.
Yeah, we would have never been able to get back there with the vehicles.
No. So, once again, we were forced to operate field day from the air-conditioned shack here.
Somebody has to do
Oh, darn.
Oh, darn is right. Yeah.
Actually, honestly, being able to go home, sleep in my bed at night was nice, and sitting in the air conditioner was nice, but it still was a little bit of a disappointment, kind of missing the camping trip again.
Yeah.
Even though it's hot, you know, and it's a lot of work, but it's still fun.
It is a lot of fun to do it that way, and hopefully next year maybe.
Hey,
Wait a minute.
you better get that. It might be the phone.
That's the Ham Shack hotline ringing there.
Wow.
Hello, who is that on my telephone?
Yeah, hello. This is Kilo 5
Hello.
Alpha Romeo November.
How you doing tonight, Arnie?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
Doing good. We're on the Ham Shack hotline phones here. You sound local. You don't sound DX at all.
No.
No. It's this is pretty fantastic, and we maybe should tell people about it. It's Ham Shack hotline, and you buy a Cisco phone for $35 on eBay, and you get hooked up. And I actually have two phones, one in the house and one in the Ham Shack, and I have now, so they both ring at the same time.
Oh, yeah, nice. They did get that to work.
Yeah. So what have you been up to, man? We hadn't seen you.
I don't know. We have I sent you some pictures from our field day. It's a little different from your others.
Let me check my email here and see. There you go.
We had our field day, a small group at the beautiful Lake Lown State Park outside Columbus, and we took my RV and we had a campsite, and this is one of the visitors. This is Virgil, AB5AR, and we had this sign, and actually there were some other people coming and visiting us during field day, so this is a beautiful spot.
Yeah, that looks like a really nice place.
Boy, it does. I wish we had a place that nice to do field day from.
Yeah.
Yeah, we actually were there last year also, but this year we did a little better, so we're improving every time. So this is my radio station, and I see that's the same as Tommy's. It's one of my favorite radios, the IC 7100.
Yeah, it's a nice one.
Yeah, and then I have a Bioenno 20 amp hour battery, and I guess on the next picture we can see the tuner. On QRZ.com I bought some used ICOM AH4 tuners, and they are fantastic, and they're kind of integrated with the radio. Here we see that tuner, that's a white box there. And actually it's on a tripod, because when I started I have a vertical antenna on it, and but this time I put some wires up in the pine trees, and it was performing very, very well. I even got contact with somebody in Puerto Rico and up in Maine and that area. So it was impressive. And my idea is that you practice to do an emergency station, so you should set up antenna, your radios, and then work out in the field. And we have chosen a very, very nice spot.
That is nice.
I'll say.
Yeah.
There were warning about thunderstorms and rain. It was like 90% chance of rain and thunderstorms. And so I ran to Harbor Freight and bought one of these carports. They had a sale on it. So it was a little more than $80. But I can tell you, it's a lot of pieces to put together. But it became really, really good. It's like 10 by 20 feet, and we put it up. And this is during Saturday evening, and the ladies there, they are working the radios, and the guy is sitting with a back towards us. He's just monitoring, and then we have the master chef there by the grill.
Cool. Yeah, you need a master chef when you go out to do field day. That is always
absolutely
important part. We didn't have one of those.
No, but we did go to Subway.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. Yeah, and here we have the two ladies working the radio. So it's Sharon. She is KG5 ABS, and then it's my wife to the left, and she doesn't have any call signs, so she's running the logging on the computer. Mm-hmm. And we didn't get any rain at all. I mean, we had this cover here, so we could take a lot of rain, and we had put everything down with strong ropes and stakes in the ground, so it shouldn't blow away. But we had beautiful weather. Actually, it cooled down during the evening.
This is the master chef right here, isn't it? In action.
Yeah, that is Niles, K5TFD. Actually, he is probably the best ham of the group. He is a great Elmer, and actually me and two friends, including him, we have our own little amateur radio club. We call it Huddle House Amateur Radio Club, and we have a meeting. We have a meeting every Tuesday morning, and the meeting goes from 1 hour to 3 hours, and we talk a lot about amateur radio and other things. And he has actually been in barbecue competitions, so he knows exactly how to do it, So I mean, it's and actually we don't really use the pork's grill there. It's a large grill inside it, one of these from Tennessee.
Yeah.
And he did a good job.
Yeah, I would say so. The results look spectacular. I wish that we had something like that. I think this would have beat Subway, Tommy.
Absolutely.
Any day.
Absolutely. We need to go have field day with Arne next year.
Oh, here you see the result. And, you know, actually there is a Southern building code regarding hamburgers, and this is done according to the building code. So it's the bottom bun,
Yeah.
and then it's mustard, and then it's onion, and then it's a hamburger patty, and then it's pickles, and then it's tomato, lettuce, and mayo, and the top a bun. And before you eat it, because this is too big for a Swedish mouth, so you have to put like 25 pounds of pressure to compress it down to 1.5 inch, and then you can eat it. And they were delicious, man.
Yeah, it looks good. It's making my mouth water.
25 pounds, huh?
Yeah, about 25 pounds.
So this Hex Beam would have worked good.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that looks like y'all had a good time there, Arne. And you know, when you get hams together, eating hamburgers, that's always a good thing. But you hams up there, you eat more than hamburgers, don't you?
Yeah, we eat eggs. So when we meet at Huddle House, that's called hams and eggs. And then on Thursdays we have hams eating chicken, and actually there is a website called hamseatingchicken.com.
Yeah, I was surprised I didn't see chicken come off that grill.
Yeah.
Yeah, we choose hamburgers. You know, hamburgers for
There
ham.
you go.
Yeah.
For ham radio.
Yeah, yeah. And then it was interesting to hear Jocelyn talking about the U.S. call sign and the license and so on, and I was not really aware of. I thought I could use my U.S. call sign abroad, but apparently I can't because I don't have a U.S. passport yet. But when I took my license, I got my tickets in early 2012, and I went to Sweden. I contacted the corresponding to ARRL in Sweden, and they just accepted my license here in the U.S. and gave me a Swedish one with a Swedish call sign, and I had to pay a little money for it. But today I think it's more complicated because the European Union, they have made it complicated, and everybody should be exactly the same, you know, and so on, you know. So today that would probably not work. So I should, but with my Swedish call sign, I can work in many countries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess that's because United States is not participating in this CEPT HOREC. It's called HOREC. This, what you call it, try to make the license exams the same in all countries.
So
you can go to ARRL, and there is a huge portion there that try to explain how it works.
So you had to pay some money to get your Swedish license, but you didn't have to learn 100 questions like Jocelyn did.
No, and in, you know, I guess they have a similar test in Sweden now. You know, they have reworked all the question pool and make them coordinated with the other countries in the European Union, and you have to answer probably 100 questions in front of a person. He's going to ask you, you know, there need to be two to sign the papers, etc., and so on. So they made it really complicated. So it's not that easy, really, to get a license in Sweden, because it's just one level, you know. You don't have like an entrance level like technician, you know. You go for the full thing immediately. So you have to study a pretty long time. So I think the number of hams in Sweden are dwindling.
Wow, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, sure is.
Yeah. Another interesting thing when we talk about this is that you know, the Olympics in amateur radio contesting is going on, and they have a live leaderboard so you can follow, you know, the people there. And I mean, it's amazing how many QSOs they do. So if you go to WRTC 2018.de. You can see this leaderboard, and it's updated every 5 minutes.
Doesn't look like the Americans are. I see one in the top 5 there, I think.
You're number 4 there. They are the defending champions from 4 years back.
Wow. I'll have to keep an eye on that.
Yeah, that's interesting. You know, I had a strange package show up here at the shack within the last few days, Arnie.
Oh, yeah.
It's
How strange.
Have you opened it up?
Yeah,
I mean, it's.
See what's in that, Tommy.
Oh, what? It gives it to you to open, Tommy.
Well, it might be a bomb or something. You know?
It's not ticking.
Who's it from?
From our friend Arne Carlsson.
Arnie. I haven't talked to him in forever.
Yeah, let's wonder how he's doing.
Yeah.
Look, Swedish Fish.
Got Swedish Fish and something else here. What is this?
Yeah. You know,
Dollar Horse? Well,
we were talking about these Swedish Fish just recently.
What you did there, you put it on the Facebook, the Swedish Fish, and said it doesn't taste as fish.
No, it doesn't taste like fish at all.
Yeah, and the reason is it's made in Canada. It's not Swedish at all. It's fake candy.
Jocelyn, have you got anything to do with this? Right there, made in Canada. And it doesn't taste anything like fish.
it does. I've never had them.
You've never?
No. Never had them.
They're good. Give it a try.
But then the other bag there, that is Swedish dollar horses.
I'm not real big on seafood.
Well, that's okay.
They are real made in Sweden, you know, and dollar horses.
You can't even hardly tell the bones are in there.
No.
It's
been filleted. They're
I'd buy
okay,
that for $1.
but I'd rather have catfish.
That's pretty good. And some tartar sauce.
Now, these dollar horses,
Tartar sauce.
you know, I was trying to talk to Tommy about these earlier. He didn't understand what I was saying.
You need to be careful and enunciate your words clearly.
Well, they don't look like fish. There's a lot of different colors in here. I'm gonna go safe and grab an orange one.
Oh, nice middle of the road color.
Yeah, right there. It's a little horse. I don't see any writing on it.
All right, Jocelyn, this is where the red shirt people all die.
We're safe.
Well, I wondered what was going to be my demise.
What color did you get?
Yellow.
Does it taste yellow?
Yeah. It's kind of like lemon.
These are good, Arnie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They don't taste like horse, though. Not that I know what a horse tastes like.
About as much as these taste like fish.
And do they cost $1? What is that about?
Yeah, what's the name from, Arnie?
Dollar horse is, I think it's I don't know what we should call it. You can go to dollarhorse.se and read about it. It's a handicraft in the middle of Sweden. The people there were taking wood and made these horses that look like on the picture on the bag there, and then paint them in like ancient patterns. And today that has become a souvenir, so they sell a lot of them in Sweden to tourists. And they're pretty nice. So dollarhorse.com, I think, is, and then you can read the story about it.
Interesting.
I see it. It's like wooden horses, like you said. They paint them up.
And they were from Sweden. It says a product of Sweden.
So did you buy these over here, or did you bring these back from Sweden?
I bought them in Cincinnati.
Yeah. You have to be careful when you're buying stuff there. They've got some beer that's just, you know.
Now that You know, that was, I passed through Cincinnati and they have an IKEA store, so they sell them in the IKEA store. And now I realize that IKEA has probably, I don't know, 100 different kinds of candy, you know, that you can just pick and put together in your own bag there.
I've never been to an IKEA store, but I want to go. Those, you know, those really good rechargeable inner-loop batteries, or rechargeable, like AA?
Yeah.
The IKEA brands are actually the same battery, and you can get them for like a fourth of the price.
Yeah. There is an IKEA in Houston.
Oh, yeah?
I'm going to go to Houston at the end of the month.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I may have to go get some batteries.
Uh-huh.
Well, Arne, thanks for sending the
I
dollar
appreciate
horses
that.
and the Swedish fish,
That's
even
pretty
though they are
interesting.
Canadian.
The Canadian Swedish fish.
Yeah.
A little later on, you're going to get some more stronger stuff in the candy style, you know.
Stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that will be interesting to see if you can handle it.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
That sounds like a challenge.
That does sound like a challenge.
It is a challenge.
Well, we've been talking with Arne Carlsson here, K5ARN SA7CAR, through the Miracle of Ham Shack hotline. It's as you can hear, the audio quality is outstanding.
It is fantastic. It sounds so good.
Yeah. So, Arne, we appreciate you calling in tonight and sharing your field day experience with us, and sharing some, I guess it's traditional Swedish candy there. At least we dispel the rumor here on the Swedish fish.
I do have to ask, do they sell Swedish fish over there?
In Sweden?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they do. But I haven't been in Sweden in 4 years, so I'm not sure.
You got any plans on going back soon?
No, I prefer to stay here, but my wife is going for a month here in a week.
This time of year, it might not be a bad place to be.
Yeah, it's got to be cooler than here.
Yeah, it's probably a little better weather. But I think they have had a hot spell, and it's very dry, and so the groundwater is disappearing.
Oh, wow.
So thank you so much. I enjoyed it, and it's a little delay here between what you're doing and I see on the screen until I hear it and so on. But I think it worked out pretty well, and I say hello to everybody in the chat room, and hello to everybody seeing the recorded version later on. I really enjoyed it, and you have made a super program this evening.
Well, thank you. It was quite a bit of unintentional stuff in there, and that's your favorite
that
type.
That was all for your benefit.
Yeah.
7-3.
Thank you so much. 7-3, everybody.
7-3, Arne. Talk to you
7-3,
soon.
Arne.
7-3. Well, that was a lot of fun, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's interesting. And who would ever known Swedish fish didn't come from Sweden?
Arne knew.
He did.
Yeah.
I would have never guessed it.
Yeah. What about these Canadian Swedish fish, Jocelyn? Have you tried them?
Yeah, I have had them, but it's been a long time. Candy is not my forte anymore.
Yeah.
Things have changed.
They
Yeah.
probably have
But-
Canadian fish over there in Sweden.
They could.
Yeah.
I know they have crawfish. Louisiana
true.
fish.
Oh, that's true.
Well, we've enjoyed it tonight, y'all. Thanks for everyone who's joined us and watching the show, the folks over in the chat room, those watching live. Thanks, of course, to Emile and our friend Jocelyn from the Great White North up there. It's good to see you again. Look forward to seeing you in Huntsville, and that's not far away.
Yeah, it's about a little over a month.
Yeah.
Actually, it's right at a month.
Yeah, very soon.
And Arne, of course, K5ARN. Great to see him again, too. You know, this is the first episode in almost 13 years that we've had two folks that both had two call signs.
Yeah, sure is.
So I think that's a new milestone for us. Of course, the rest of us, you know, we do good to have one call sign. So,
Yeah.
yep.
Well, it sounds like we're searching for statistics here.
At this point in the show, you know, it's about 130 in here now.
It is. It's getting really hot.
Yeah, and I've got a half a fish to go. So,
that's just the tails. You eat the tails?
Yeah, you can eat the tails too. Yeah. So, Tommy, any final words before
Let's turn the air conditioner on.
Yeah.
No, it's been fun. It was a fun field day. Hope next year we'll have some more outdoor adventure videos for field day. So those are always great too. Yeah. Anyway, we'll see you next time. All right,
Emile, any final words?
You know, we put in a packet or the results for about 950 or so points. So we'll see what we get back. I'll be sure to report back what the ARRL gives back based on what we submitted. And if there's one thing in our lessons learned that I learned is we scored most of our points between the later hours of the night. The daytime was noisy and everybody was on top of everybody else. Mm-hmm. And, you know, when it hit the nighttime, we started racking up CW and voice contacts and the digital. So that's what we're going to do. I think we're going to start later next year.
Good point there. And yeah, I would say the same thing. We were late getting started, but it really didn't matter because the bands were so bad that, you know, we wasn't hearing anything. We went and ate, came back, and things had improved. Mm-hmm. Jocelyn, any final words from you?
No, I was going to say to Emile, remember, it's not a contest. There's points awarded, but it's not a contest. It's almost as contradictory as the grounding on radio.
No. Let's don't start that one.
No doubt. That's a great point. It's a great point.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, we'll see how we'll do. But we did the same observation. We had a lot of noise. I operated at night. I set up all the computers and operated at night, and we seem to do okay there.
Yeah, nighttime's pretty good, except 80 meters. That one's kind of tough here.
Yeah.
All the thunderstorms.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for being here tonight, Jocelyn. It was great to visit with you and to learn a little bit about foreign operating. You know, we didn't have any idea that those were, requirements. So good to kind of know.
Yep. Perfect.
Yeah, it was a pleasure having you on.
Yep.
Thank you. Glad to be on.
Yep.
All right, 7-3, everyone. We'll see you back here next month around the 15th. Yes, live long and prosper.
And, the red shirts made it, Jocelyn. The red shirts made it.
I don't know. I'm looking in my Star Trek encyclopedia here. They're not going to make it.
Oh. Sorry, guys.
Well,
73, everybody.
73.
Beam them out.
I think we might have some weather moving in. I hear
the weather dog?
Yeah.
The weather dog.
So I think it's probably a possum on a fence back there is what it is. Yeah, that is a possum bark. There's a difference.
You can tell the difference.
Yeah, possum bark and thunderstorm warning are two different sounds.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad you can tell the difference.
Yeah. Well, what it means is I'm going to have to get out there and stop the possum, or we're going to have this. It's sort of a Mexican standoff. The possum gets on the fence. The dogs tree him. The possum plays possum and won't move. The dogs won't leave either. So it can go on for hours.
Oh, it's just kind of a self-feeding situation there.
Yeah.
Just kind of.
Yeah. So, I don't know. The possum.
Does he bark when certain bands are open too? You got him a collar that detects that?
No, he's not very band aware. Just
Okay.
He's only a technician, so he didn't get
Yeah, you should work on
any
that.
HF privileges.
George's dog is a technician. Jeez.
Yeah.
I got to work on mine.
Yeah. You know,
Are you going?
I think I'm going to need to do something about that because that seriously will go
This is
on.
going to have to make it into the blooper reel then for sure.
Yeah. Well, maybe he'll quit. I've got another video here. No, he's not going to quit.
He's just getting started.
And I wish I had a better picture here. We're going to do some more of this in the future, though, looking at this antenna a little bit closer. Okay, that has nothing to do with it.